truth.
Can't handle the truth, but you can handle hitting the like button. Welcome to the Piper Academy Network, guys. I'm Ari Piper, and we've got a red market today. As the thumbnail said, I think we're heading for a dip, and I'm going to be watching for a key level. Where am I buying in? We're going to be dropping that today, guys. Right now, you can see right there, we're getting a little dipsy-do coming off of that anchored VWAP right there in the chart prime indicators. I'm watching for some key levels for us to catch so that we can get a nice little pump. Shout out to everyone here in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys all being here. And we're going to break down all this news. We're going to look at these this economic data that's coming up the rest of this week. We're going to talk about what level you should watch for a buy-in on Bitcoin, and where can we be heading on this dip. All that and a lot more today on the morning market report, guys. Let's get it. You know what time it is. Everyone take your seats. Get your pen and paper out. It's time. Class is in session. Let's go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new studio. It's set up. We're running here. We're good to go. We got everything going. Even got the little drop down screen. Let's go. Let's take a look at this chart here. This is the one we were watching, and we are kind of falling into a range right now beneath the point of control. That's not a good thing. So we're going to have to break all this down and explain what it means, why we're looking at this dip. And alts, guys, alts are absolutely getting hammered on this dump right now. Which ones are holding up the best? We'll take a look at that too. But let's go ahead and take a look at this this amazing looking Mexican Superman gentleman here. It's my co-host. It's the OC guy. What's up, bro? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Very good day. Seems like Bitcoin is just not doing much, but we're basically at Tuesday. So we'll see if he wants to wake up and start working or moving his A off. But if not, well, then maybe altcoins can start thriving once again. I don't know. Seems like a couple of altcoins are being moving. But for the most part, everything's been just quiet around here.
Yeah.
But quiet kind of like it gets dangerous.
Scary. It's like when it's like when you have little kids, or like you have my dog, and all of a sudden everything just gets really quiet, and you're like, that's not a good sign at all. The dog or the kids are into something, right? And so you got to go check, right? Bitcoin being a little bit quiet right now. This thing's too quiet. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to take a look at it. Let's go ahead and jump into the Duo chat cam, and let's go see who all's in the house with us right now. Let's see here. We got Alexandra G, the mod queen, in there, dropping gypsies in the chat. I appreciate you, lady. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. She said the studio looks amazing. Thanks. Zach and I worked very hard on it. Robert Mulligan's in here with us. Little Fish, Dylan VA, XYZOZYX in here. Alex is back. Felt strange without you yesterday. Good morning. I need it was strange without Alexandra G here. It doesn't feel the same when she's not with us, and so I had to call him. I had to text her and check on her yesterday and be like, "Where are you? Are you okay? Are you doing okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm just helping out a friend," because that's the type of person she is. She's a lovely human. So, Wix Wife Fine 89 2Dub in the house with us right now. Who else we got in here? Iko said check 1, 2, 3. Sound check is good. It's good copy. Lima Charlie. Loud and clear if you don't know what that means. Harp, look at that bear up. Piper, look at that bear up. Yeah, bro, I am a little bearish today, but I am bullish on where it's going to hit. So it's going to be okay. Ninja Glock's in here with us. And Crypto Princess. Also, we are redirecting over to her today. She's got a live stream or a show. It's a premiere. We're going to be pushing over to her today to check out Crypto Princess's latest video. And then shout out to Keith, Crypto Coin Mindset, and BC Port Corp in here with us. C90 for the win. I love it. Got the alumni here. Even if this is the extent of today's viewers, I'm fine with that. I would rather have my friends and family right here in the chat with me than a bunch of people that I don't know. So it is what it is. OC. Let's go jump in on this Bitcoin chart, and let's talk about what we're currently seeing right now, and then we'll go into the news, take a look at that, and then we'll come back and talk about where we think Bitcoin is going to hold. So let's jump over to your chart first, and let's just give an update on where are we at right now, and what are we currently seeing on the charts, and then we'll talk about the prediction after the news.
After, absolutely. So let's take a look at it right here. We're still within the same triangle that we were talking about. If you see, we're respecting it almost to the T, going right to the point of support, right to the point of resistance, and going back and forth throughout those areas. I'm still looking at the possible breakout. We're still very flat, so basically, not quite a good prediction on where we're gonna be breaking out, or at least having a peak of. Yes, we are very bullish. We're about to break in. We're still on a pump, but that doesn't mean that we cannot go for a sweep of some liquidity. Something interesting. Let me zoom out in here and also let me just get rid of a couple of stuff in here, like for example the previous range that we marked, and this whatever that it was. Oh, I see. Yeah, I know what that is. That is a prediction where we should be looking for a big retracement for then maybe a rejection. But let's just get rid of that for now. All right. So something interesting is that right now, once again, we're hovering over this median line from the megaphone that we created somewhere around here. So I mean, back in April, we were drawing this megaphone, and guess what? We are right there on the support, very close to that support, holding like a champ. We'll see if the dynamic reactor makes a definitive movement either to the upside to then start looking for breakout retest, or if we see some loss of that zero line and then a sweep of the lows. Nonetheless, something interesting that I'm just noticing right now is that we have a possible reversal. That reversal did play that already. That is this little itty bitty movement, and then we'll see if we can hold that ground, because as we hit that resistance, well, then we're having that rejection. So far in the same place, holding like a champ, but still we'll see how that goes, because every day that goes by, it's a day closer to the weekend, and that is low volume. We'll see how that plays out.
Absolutely. Low volume. Um, We're going to take a look here at the news. Shout out to C90, JR C90 for the win. And who else was it? Average Crypto Joe joining us here. I appreciate you guys being here. You guys are amazing. Amazing. All right, let's go jump over to the news. Let's talk about that. Let's get through all of this stuff. Because right now, guys, we're looking at a crypto market cap of $3.89 trillion. The trend median on this is sitting at 4.095 trillion. That means that Bitcoin or crypto as a whole is currently undervalued by 5%. Okay. Move down here, take a look at the current risk bands for Bitcoin. We're currently sitting at 58.3. And then looking at Bitcoin dominance, we've lost that 64% range without stablecoins. It's now sitting at 63.75%. And with stablecoins, 59.67. So we have lost that 60% range on with stables. We've lost 64% on without stables. Bitcoin dominance getting a little drop there. Let's take a look at the ETH dominance. We never really look at this. With stable coins, it's at 11.62. Without stables, it's at 12.42. We can see here, starting in about April, dominance on Ethereum moving to the upside. We don't really look at that often, but I figured we would. Overall, though, we talked about this yesterday on the Discord VIP session with our alumni members. And really, if you take a look, yeah, we had this pullback. But guess what? We did that back in January, in December, January too. Big pullback and then rocketed back up. So this might be getting to a line here in the sand, because if you really just think about, visualize a trend line up through there, we're getting pretty close on that. Let's jump over to X and take a look at the fear and greed flashbang. There you go, guys. Fear and greed index right now sitting at 72, currently in greed. We're going to take a look at some of the X marks the spot here in a little while, but Elon Musk, SpaceX, moved 1,308 Bitcoin for the first time in 3 years. Cause for concern? I don't know. We'll take a look. And we'll also talk about an article on this. JP Morgan is considering offering loans backed by the client's cryptocurrency holdings, meaning you would use your Bitcoin for collateral to get a loan at JP Morgan Chase, according to the Financial Times. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about this when we're in the breakdown of Bitcoin. So, all right, guys, take a look at the last 24 hours here of liquidations. 162,654 traders got liquidated. The total liquidations coming in at about $603 million. And the largest single liquidation was on HTX. It was a Bitcoin trade. Not much, $36.2 million. Whatever. Looking here at the crypto bubbles, guys, daily again, a lot of red on the hourly, a lot of red. We are seeing Flare is up 4.3%, Pingu is up 4.4, and Tanya is up 3.8. Saros is up 1.8, but on the daily, just really, really looking bad. Jump down here, take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently coming in at about 118,300 bucks, down about 2.2% on the daily and about 0.9% on the hourly. So overall, right now, Bitcoin holding up much better than Ethereum, who's down 4.1, XRP is down 2.9. But look at Solana, dude. On the daily, still up 3.5%, and it has moved up one spot, surpassing BNB. OC, it's now number 5. BNB dropping down to number 6 while it's down 1.9% on the daily. Cardano down 6.8%. It's at 86 cents today. Hyperliquid down 6.8, Stellar Lumen 6.1. A lot of big drops today in the world of crypto. You know, if this was a stock, this would be a horrible dip. This would be a massive dump for stock market. Oh my God, it's down 6.1% today. But in crypto, this is just Tuesday. That's all it is. It's Tuesday. Toncoin moving up one spot into number 20 there, taking out Leo token. It is up today, 1.4% on the daily, 3.4% in the past hour. So looking at the stock market, TradFi side, U.S. market, Dow Jones right now, the S&P and the NASDAQ all in the red. Dow Jones is about flat, 0.03%. S&P is down about 0.28 of a percentage there, and then NASDAQ down about 0.67%. So Russell 2K slightly down at 0.16, and the VIX is kicking back up. This is what you don't want to see. When this is all red and you got this VIX like this, it means volatility is selling off in the market. So stocks right now, looking at Europe, only thing that was green overnight, FTSE, and then Asia markets was mixed. A little bit of green, a little bit of red. Nifty 50 in the Japan markets are in the red, everything else in the green. Bonds, the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield down just slightly to 0.024% there, or points, I should say. It is sitting at 4.346%. And then oil, we are seeing a downside sell-off on oil. This is kind of cooling off because people are like, hey, it doesn't look like we're going to have too many tariff scares that are going to cause oil to go up. So it's down to $66 right now, staying above that $60 mark. That's the profitability level for oil companies, for oil drilling, but below that 70, where it starts to get really pricey on us, the consumer. Looking at gold, it's moved to the upside today. OC, it's sitting at $3,424 right now. Silver sitting at $39.23 despite a quarter percentage pullback. Copper is in the green. Platinum is red. Palladium's green. OC, palladium's green. Platinum's red today.
You got me
Sorry,
there.
gotta drop it on you. Yeah, that's what we're seeing there on the TradFi markets today. Let's go over and check out what's going on in the economy, the macro side. Fed Chair Powell speaking right now. Started speaking about an hour and a half ago. I'm pretty sure he's probably getting close to done right now. We haven't heard anything. Again, I'm not hearing anything. It's way too quiet for Jerome Powell to be speaking on a major event like this and not get like tweet after tweet after tweet. So be prepared. Be prepared. Wednesday, tomorrow, guys, we're going to get existing home sales. Nothing major there. As of right now, it does look like it's going to drop. So existing home sales are going to be disappearing because a lot of people just not putting them up for sale right now. Durable goods orders right now is Friday. That's the next big one coming up. And it looks like that's going to be a massive drop. And then, of course, we're going to get our weekly initial unemployment filings. That looks like it is going up according to this. So some data this week all pointing to not good macro data. So looking at the Fed Watch tool here, what is the likelihood of a July, likelihood of a September, and the likelihood of an October rate cut? As of right now for July, we are 95.3% chance that we're not going to see a rate cut. September, 41.6% chance this is continuing to hold in this area. No rate cut in September. 41% chance of that. And then October is our first window of hope for a rate cut, and it's sitting at 18.5% chance of no change. 81% chance that we get a rate cut in October. So let's talk about this one, OC, and then we'll look at the liquidation heat map, and then we'll come over and talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin seller exhaustion likely as traders eye $115,000 price dip. We're seeing that the retail is selling off, But guess who's not, OC? Guess who's picking up all of that absorbing buying pressure on the selling, absorbing the selling pressure? It's the Wells, man. Profitability has cooled, says Glassnode, but fresh gains are still possible. Traders are eyeing liquidity build up at $115,000 for a Bitcoin price dip. I'm in agreement with that. I think it goes a little bit lower, but it is something to keep an eye on, that level there. Bitcoin, in its latest market pulse released Monday, on-chain analytics firm Glassnode warned that fresh gains may not come soon. Warning, warning. Danger, Will Robinson, if you will, OC. Bitcoin is taking a reasonable pause after it surged to new all-time highs, but market shifts mean that another lengthy consolidation phase may result. Glassnode reveals various signs that investors are now readjusting to range-bound Bitcoin price behavior. Consolidation, as Piano Matty B has been saying. Consolidation. Profitability metrics have started to cool. The percentage of the supply and profit and unrealized profit both decline slightly, but remain in euphoric territories. So the realized profit to loss ratio measures coins moving in profit and loss compared to their last transaction. Glassnode calls the metrics drop from 3.9 to 2.6, a notable drop in that band. So the shift points to a market recalibrating after the recent all-time high, with investors adopting a more measured stance and reduced bullish intensity. Interestingly enough, we kind of talked about this yesterday in our Piper session, in our Discord session, and said, are we really as bullish as it feels? And our narrative was pretty much it's not. It's not as bullish as everyone feels like it is right now. So that reduction does not mean that bears are starting to gain the upper hand, however. Rather than terminating its march higher at 123,000, Bitcoin appears to be coiling, cementing new support. The current consolidation may nonetheless copy previous cooling off phases, turning from days to weeks or longer. So liquidity points to a $115,000 retest, though. Bitcoin traders are considering where new local lows may come as a result of the bull run breather. Analyzing exchange order books, liquidity, market participants highlighted $115,000 as an increasingly tempting price magnet. The main areas to watch in the short term are 115,000 to 120,000. Let's go ahead and jump over to my heat map. It's updated. You can see that right there. That's where it's at. There's that nice yellow line running across, guys. That's coming in like right at 115. You can see there's another big heat map close to, let's see here, about 2 billion, almost $3 billion sitting down there. And that is coming in right at the bottom at 113,000. So 113 to 115, 113.5 to 115.5 is the levels to watch. Let's go ahead and jump over to my chart here, and we'll talk about the levels on here, and then we'll bring it back to you, OC. Looking at the daily chart, we can see we got another continuation there of the histogram, crossed into a bearish line. But look at the angle on this, guys. And OC, if you'll talk about this when you come up on your chart, please, about angles, and 45-degree angles are not created equal, right? So we'll talk about that. If you would bring up that example and do the box, I think it would be really good to point that out, because these tend to get a curvature. We can already see it on here on the Oscillator Pro. We're starting to get a slight curve up on the daily. Look how short the candles are getting on the downside move here for Heikin-Ashi RSI Prime. It does look like we're about to get a repeat movement, but how far down will this price go while we're in that transition phase on days? Guys, remember, this is a daily chart, and they're talking about days to weeks for this to play out. Could easily be the case that we see this not happening, not finally finding its bottom until sometime this weekend. And that's what I'm watching there. OC, let's kick it over to you. Let's take a look at what you're seeing, because we talked about that level, that was 115 range there. And look, the heat map is calling 113.5 to 115.5 for liquidation levels on the order books. We're seeing some other indicators of support down in that range. What are they? And let's take a look at your chart, and let's talk about why the angle of sell-off on that bearish signal matters.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at here. Something important, it is while we're going to be measuring angles and something that variates, we need a base point. In here, we can see that we can manipulate the charts, right? And also right here that we can extend and contract this, especially talking about the oscillator. Sorry about that. And then, well, then we need a base point. Usually when we talk about that base point, we double click this and double click this, and that will give you, or that will get you locked into place. So basically a one-on-one section. So I have a, I don't know if call it a theory or just a workout where I draw boxes, right? I usually go for flip up the ribbons and something like that, and then try to create the most accurate box that I can, right? And based on that, I'm gonna be looking for, in this case, since we're going downwards, a 45-degree angle line from top to bottom. That will give me not only the intensity of the movement, but also how powerful that will be. I usually use this for breakouts and retests, right? But right now we have in breakout, we are above the 45-degree angle, which means that in this case, because we're going downwards, well, it doesn't show that much strength because it's slightly above that 45-degree angle. Usually when we are below the 45-degree angle, as you can see, that angle is more stiff, it's more pronounced, and that usually indicates a breakout with no retest. When we are stick to that 45-degree angle, it is a hit or miss. But so far, seems like, yeah, we could be having a sweep of the lows, something to hit previous areas in here. But since we don't have enough momentum and we have the zero line in here, most likely we could be speculating that so far we are going to be holding. So that is how I use this 45-degree angle box. Let me show you a quick caveat. When we're talking about bearish movements, well, this is, like the weak side at the top, and right down here, it is the strong side. But when we're talking about bullishness, all right, or bullish movements, well, the story tends to differ a little bit right here. Let me just manipulate this a little bit more just so you might be able to see what I'm talking about. All right, so let's just for the sake of the example, like that. All right, so when we're talking about movements to the upside, now the story changes. When we are above, it's saying is it telling you that we do have strength, and when we're below, it shows you that we might not have that strength. So this is how I use those boxes. As you can see right here, we did went through, and then as we were above this area, we had just a barely retracement, almost no retracement, and then off we go. We took off. So in this case, since we are not having strength, well, then I think that we are gonna have that movement, but at the end of it all, maybe have a support at the zero line. So that's how I use those
BC Port
boxes to
Corp said
predict
it's all about
breakouts.
the angle of the dangle.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. And yeah, that's what I got for the angles on those boxes.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the other. There were some other indicators you were calling out this morning that were showing support down in that range also, of that 113.5 to 115.5. What are you watching on the chart for that? And what's going to be your buy-in on the dip if we do break these support levels that we're at? Because right now I'm watching closely for this level that's coming in at right about 116,601. I think that's a key critical level. Is going to be our daily golden band of our predictive ranges. But if we take a look, we tend to trade in between those two gold bands. Even if we go to the delta, which we went into new predictive ranges, so we should be heading to this 50% line here. That's coming in at like 111. Do you think we're going to go that low? Is there other indicators you're watching on your chart that's giving you some price entries on where to grab some Bitcoin at?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get back to this charting here really quickly. I know it's a little messy, but let me just point out that the important part is on these candles, all right? Those candles, they're a copy, there we go, out of this section in here, and they end up in, and this is a little bit scary to be honest, at the very top, right? You can see that it's a little bit stretched like that, but nonetheless, it ends up at the almost very, very top. And so far, we have following this, I don't know, trend, almost being exactly candle by candle. Look at that. We have this movement to the upside, this movement to the upside, sweep of the lows, and then breakout. then this next high, then the next high. What else we had? We have the retracement. We have the retracement. We have right here this little pause, and then we have again that little pause and a burst to the upside, a burst to the upside, and then well, my question remains right now: are we right here, right, or are we right there? If we are right here, well, then we could be expecting a little bit of a reverse. Something important just to see for our where are we going to be maybe looking for reentries. It is this red box. This red box used to had an order block. It's already gone, but previous resistance becomes new support. So coming back down right somewhere around 115 might be a good area to look at. I also have, if we go to the Bitcoin, my Bitcoin Classic charting here, and then if I go to the 4 hour, you will also be seeing that my first area of support, and let's just give it a second in here, we have dynamic reactor. In that dynamic reactor, and my alert, of course, because it's under the dynamic reactor, it's at 114,600. So very close to that dynamic reactor is the same areas that you were talking about based on the liquidity zone. Another thing that we have next down here, it is around 110 and 108. That is my secondary entry, and that is because we have a double daily support in those areas. Not only that, well, then right around that same zone, we have a liquidity zone or a liquidity area. And once again, right next to my support zones, we have a loud order block, 100% bullish. So we are seeing migration of those buy-ups right there, those positions at 111, 110, somewhere around that same area. So my first speculation is going to be that we break out to 114, and maybe if we overshoot, we might be looking at 111, 110 for a nice pullback up to the upside.
Yeah,
Interesting. Will we be below the
yeah, something
dynamic?
else that I'm watching there too. Something else that I'm watching at that level that I want to bring up too, OC, is that we have a CME gap from July 10th that we've cleaned out part of it. You can see that here. We've cleaned out a piece of it on the day of the new opening on Friday there. But we still have this gap coming down to about 113,800 here. And if you really want to be nitpicky about it, we still have a CME gap that hasn't been filled from 22 April, sitting all the way down in 91 to $92,000. Now, does it have to get picked up? Absolutely not. And at this point, I think it's unlikely until we hit, later on in the crypto cycle and we do our crypto winter, the 4-year cycle takes effect. But as of right now, we do have to keep in mind 113.8 here is a level to watch on that CME gap. Also, tie that in with what you're seeing on support levels, what we're seeing on the daily oscillators, all giving us this bearish narrative. Does seem like we could see some pullback, but the big question is OC, at what price level do you set your first buy-in entry, and is it all in at that level, or do you have several entries? What's your buy-in
I
on
do
this
have
dip?
some. I do have several entries. My buy-in is going to be first at 114. That is not going to be a confirmed buy. I'm going to be looking at my oscillator to see if we can have some flip of the ribbon, some support, something that indicates to me that it's going to be an entry, not just sweep of the low. So if that is a sweep of the low, I'm willing to hold it. But if not, then I'm going to be dividing my entry for 50% entry at 114 and then 50% entry at 110. I'm willing at this point to put in up to 2 entries, and I'm changing, or I'm separating or distributing my money in fourth or in half. So for half for 2 entries, or two half pair entry at 2 different points. And that is in case we overshoot a little bit, and then on the way up, I re-enter on that possible scenario on that 115, 114. Because I believe that we still have one more leg up. For me, for the patterns that I'm seeing, I think that we still have one more push to go to start breaking through. I don't know. I mean, in targets for that, I'm looking at 130, 132, something around these areas right here. So looking at something like maybe like that, right? So if you see I buy in here, maybe going or waiting for the second buy-in if I don't get in here. If I get in here, perfect. I buy in the first one. And then if it doesn't get to the very bottom, well, then I buy in again on the way up. And targets, I will be looking somewhere around 130, 133, 130, somewhere around this ballpark. If everything goes as planned or in the as a better opportunity. But yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking.
for me, I'm watching my first level that I'm watching is going to be a liquidity sweep of the wick that we had here. I'll show you. First one that I'm watching is going to be a liquidity sweep of 115.5. Okay. Liquidity sweep there. One buy in there. The next one going to be down at 113.9. That would be a CME gap closure there. And then, of course, jumping over here, ultimately, I'm looking at like $111,500 for my third buy-in. Those are my three levels that I'm looking at for a buy-in on some more. We've been doing the Piper plan over in Piper Academy Discord, and I've got a DCA this week, so I'm splitting that DCA out. It's 2 times that my DCA amount this week based on wristbands, and so I will split that 2x of my DCA amount out into 3 equal purchases there at those levels. So shout out to our chat, guys. We got all kinds of conversation going on over here. Let's see who all we got in the house. Let's go. Where are you at? There you go. Looks like we got Brakoshi in here. Brakoshi no dinero. And Buck finally showed up to class. He said, getting ready to go to Alaska, getting his stuff together. And he said, why is Piper so serious today? Is he in first sergeant mode? That's what the Brakoshi said. I'm in top mode. If you guys don't know, first sergeant mode. That was my rank when I retired. So, yeah, I'm throwing knife hands, and we're talking serious business here on the markets, guys. So, who else did we get in here? We got JR blowing up the chat. Appreciate you, man. And then, Crypto Chef, I saw you, man. What you cooking up today? That's the big question. What is Crypto Chef cooking up today? He said, I'm stuck on the charts. Everyone cook for yourself. Man, you just stole all the fun out of the day for me, Crypto Chef. I was hoping you was going to make me something good. All right, OC, let's go talk about some other stuff that's going on in the world. Because we had this thing. I don't know if you saw this or not. Good old Steak and Shake. They got this whole thing on Bitcoin. So I went to a Steak and Shake. I haven't had a Steak and Shake in a while. We had a Steak and Shake down in did not have a Steak and Shake in El Paso, but we have one here, and it's actually really good Steak and Shake. So, and I went through the drive-thru, and they had the Bitcoin logo on there with the Bitcoin QR code, so you can buy your Steak and Shake with Bitcoin. And I asked the guy, I said, I got to ask you, have you had anybody at all that has spent Bitcoin to buy Steak and Shake? And he says, yeah, we've had a couple. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And at that point, I was thinking, why would anyone buy an asset food that is going to be gone? There's no long-term value to it. It's gone, right? And so and instead of holding Bitcoin, right? And so I was curious about it, but I had to ask. I had to get that answer. And yes, they've had a couple of people that have paid with Bitcoin at Steak and Shake, but they just put out a new ad. They just put out a new ad here, and we're going to look at this and show this. And I want to make sure it's not echoing, but this is the new advertisement that Steak and Shake just did for Bitcoin, guys. Check it out. I love that. I love this. I love that they got Bitcoin in their logo now. Tallow fries, beef tallow fries, Bitcoin, Steak and Shake. And then, of course, this was on my thumbnail today, the robot with the Bitcoin logo there. There you go. They are jumping in. Please, AI, add Piper into that Flashdance crew. There's my dancing. You got it. There you go. So I'm in there. But yeah, that's the new ad from Steak and Shake. And I just wanted to share that I asked them, is it really a thing that people are using Bitcoin to buy Steak and Shake? And evidently they are. They are doing it. What was the other piece in here? I wanted to talk about this Kabisi letter, current situation. This was 21 hours ago, but we're in that ranging of $120,000 for the first time in history. Gold prices are surging above 3,400 an ounce, 3% away from a record high. Ethereum is set to cross above $4,000 for the first time since December 2024. And Ripple is trading, aka XRP, above 350 for the first time in history. The 10-year note is set to break above 4.5%, even as Trump is calling for a 3% rate cut. Silver price is trading at the highest level since 2011. The deficit spending crisis is worse than you think. So, pretty bleak there on that front. And let's talk about this because I told you guys I was watching for the liquidity levels, right? And if you take a look at this is from Bitcoin Hyper this morning, and 3 times we have come back and grabbed liquidity off of previous wicks. So 3 times we've come down. That's why I'm watching for one more for another breakdown, which we're in right now. We're coming off of this range, and I'm watching for that 115.5 range, $115,500 for another liquidity sweep. That's why one of my buy-ins is there. OC, JP Morgan, bro. They are exploring crypto-backed loans amid the stablecoin push. Financial Times cited an unidentified source saying Jamie Dimon's previous remarks about Bitcoin had alienated some potential clients. You think? Get out of there. Get. Shoo. All right. JP Morgan is reportedly looking into crypto backed loans, signaling a potential shift in how U.S. banks regard crypto assets. Financial Times reported on Tuesday, citing unidentified sources, that JP Morgan may start lending directly against assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Financial Times reported this may happen by 2026, though the plans are subject to change. The report followed a recent JP Morgan indication that it is interested in stablecoins. Shout out to the Genius Bill, BC Port Corp's favorite bill out there for his favorite company, Circle. In a July 15th earnings call, JP Morgan's Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said that they plan to be involved in stablecoins. He said the bank will be involved in the asset class to understand it and be good at it. The comments came as its competitor Citigroup announced plans to enter the stablecoin race in a post-earnings conference call. Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser said the bank was considering issuing stablecoins, a stable coin for payments. So I don't know. It's interesting that they do have in the Genius Act that in order to make stable coins and be able to use it in fintech in the banking industry, you have to have a bank charter, leading to Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, and Circle US. CRCL, the Circle Group, applying for that. Will they get it approved? I don't know. A lot of banks are pushing back on it, but it's interesting that it's going to get us to a point where we will have our crypto, and if we want to use and spend some of our profits, we'll be able to just borrow against it and not have to actually sell it ever again. So, is this the last time that we sell Bitcoin for profit? I don't know. It's a good question. JB Hulk Smash, good morning. I got you back, bro. I got you back. I went in to the system yesterday. I hunted down your blocked name and got you back. Jesse Gullick did not mean to do that, but we're glad to see you back here, bro. He went to drop his phone and tried to catch it, and he kicked JB. He blocked JB from being able to post. So I wanted to make sure that all of our peeps were in here rocking. So all right, OC, that's what I got there from JP Morgan. I do want to give one last update on Coca-Cola. I talked about this last week to you, that maybe I wouldn't have to hunt high and low, seek high and low for my Mexican Coca-Cola. What's going on with that? Check it out. Coca-Cola, they're rolling out cane sugar version of the namesake soda in the U.S. this fall. They're planning to expand the U.S. soda offerings with a version of its namesake, cola sweetened with cane sugar. President Donald Trump had earlier announced that he had spoken with Coke about using real cane sugar in his drinks. Because why? Because people that hate corn syrup hunt high and low to grab Coca-Cola made in Mexico because it has that real cane sugar. And while it may be more expensive than corn syrup, Trump believes that more people will buy Coca-Cola if it's made with real sugar, because it's not that corn crap. So what do you got, OC? You get your Coca-Cola Coca-Cola is the Coke that I hunt for. What do you think about that? That U.S. is going to start making no more high fructose corn syrup version with sugarcane in it. So
I think that's gonna be another rabbit hole that we need to go and check it out because there was an investigation about that. If you're not aware of this, and there is a huge rabbit hole about it because they actually a couple of investigators went ahead and hunt for actual Mexican Coca-Cola. And depending on where you get that Coca-Cola, they did test different, but they had a high fructose corn syrup. So what gives? I mean, I mean, what are they doing? And I think that they're mixing a couple of stuff, right? I mean, there's no secret that depending on what is the cheapest around here, and they might either mix real sugar with the higher fructose syrup, and then well, the taste is just slightly different, right? But also, it seems to me, and so you don't need to go and watch the 2 hour investigation. It
why
seems
not?
to me that they're using, yeah, why not? They're using either a different process or using a different flavorant to do in Mexican Coca Cola. But knowing that they can sell for a profit or more expensive, the cane sugar, well, I think they will be making it with a cane sugar but added to it using the extra flavorant or the extra flavors that they use in Mexico to give it that extra kick in the sweetness
I
that
thought
they use.
Coca-Cola was flavored with coca. Not anymore. That those days are
Well,
gone.
those days are gone. Cola in Mexico means tail.
Emotional damage.
Jr.
So
Jr. would have two Coca Colas in each hand, be like, "I'm here to work, boss. 24-hour shift, no problem." That would be Jr.'s if he had Coca Cola. Uh,
he will drink it out of the nose.
I drink my Coke with a straw. Of course you do. Alexander G said, "Just don't drink soda." That's hey, drink some water. Take a knee, face out. Drink water, drive on. That's what we do. And then if you have anything, a broken leg, concussion, whatever, just take an ibuprofen, pop a 800 milligram Motrin, and everything will be better in life. If you know, you know. All right, OC, what are we looking at? We got about 10 minutes here. What are we looking at on the altcoin side with the sell off? Some of these are holding up better than others. The Soul Train is continuing the drive on, but some of these others not doing so good while Bitcoin's making a little rally back up here on the daily now. We're starting to see. So let's jump over to your chart. Let's take a look at the alts. And this is your alt segment for the day with OC Guy, guys. Let's go check it out and see what he's got for us.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at where we were talking about yesterday. From ADA, we had a resistance in here back from all the way down here. And what's going on? Well, then we did had that retracement. Hopefully you guys did took it. Nonetheless, just so you know, I'm not looking for that retracement size because remember, it almost never plays out this well, but it seems like I actually draw it afterwards. But we were expecting a little bit of a ranging here or flag out. That is your opportunity to start looking for a bounce. Am I telling you to buy? Of course not. We first need to see a flip of the ribbon. We need to see a money flow steady here, and well then hitting some supports. But so far, so good. Looking that we're flagging out. I did this as a range or even as a megaphone, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna play out exactly as I have drawn this. All right. The only point that I wanted to make here is that we want to see that flag out to the right and hold those prices as they are. Areas of entry, of course, where we have some support. Let's look for those supports. And we have something here too far away. There we go. Loud order block. This is interesting. We generated this yesterday as we were coming back down. So coming back up in here might be maybe a good opportunity to short the market once again your support right down here. What else do we have? We have a predictive range very close where we had our support. So far, so good. Let's buy low, sell high, and of course, use a stop loss. Another one that hit alert was Solana. Solana, I was expecting a little bit of a sweep of the lows in here. In fact, I was looking at the 30 minutes in here. It did not went to my entry point, but it did hit the exit point at the top. So far, we're hovering on that area. Once again, we define that range, and based on that range, we're going to be looking for high points, low points, entering low, exiting high. So far we have liquidation zones, and we're going to be looking both at this VRVP or VPVR, however you want to call it, and our liquidation zone. So far, something interesting about Solana, it is that it's kind of like forming a goose hit, a very weird goose hit. So we might have the chance to break out, retest off we go. But until we see that breakout in here, I'm not going to be aiming for a re-entry at the top, because I mean, it could also be a fake out. So be careful right here. I'm just looking for Bitcoin to move. And after Bitcoin moves, even if it's sideways, well, then I'm going to be looking into different altcoins. XLM also for the win. We had a 4-hour trading here. It entered yesterday, right there for some sweep of the lows. Remember, as I was expecting, maybe some breakout retest. Off we go. This is an anticipated entry, by the way, because we don't have a flip of the ribbon just now. But so far, that is it. In our stop loss, it is at 0.43 or 0.4399. Be careful with this one, because this was meant for the 30 minutes, and we are just basically bouncing back down. Yes, we have a double bottom. That's why I'm holding this one, and we have a higher low. Again, that's what I'm holding this one, and I'm just like XRP, maybe looking for that movement to the upside. But this is a dangerous trade. Be careful out there. And that's what I got so far on the altcoin side. Sorry, I want to hold on, look for possible entries today throughout the day, and then tomorrow start confirming maybe those entries to get out somewhere around Friday, I would say.
Yeah, shout out to I think those are some good levels to watch, and definitely you guys should stay tuned into OC. He does a show, if you guys don't know, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trade live with OC, and I got a buddy. He watches the show. He's at the gym right now, but he'll watch this later. His name is Bobby. One of my battle buddies from the military. Him and his wife are really good friends with me and my wife. We go on a lot of trips together and vacation for a long time. He's been trading. He's been doing the DCA Piper plan. He's been trading, and he retired from the army, and his wife's like, you need to get a job. Now she's no longer telling him that he needs to go get a job. He's pulled in $10,000 this month trading, with investments and trading. Yeah, he's crushing it, man. So she's like, yeah, you don't need to go get a job. Just keep doing that. But he's been watching you, OC, and he goes, dude, OC is really freaking smart. I was like, hell yeah, he is. Straight up, very smart dude. And he goes, and the longer I'm watching him, the more I can understand everything he's saying. I don't even hear his accent anymore. So your knowledge and intelligence is breaking through the language barrier, OC. And then I also saw someone talk about tequila. So I wanted to show you guys. This is the bottle of tequila that my buddy OC got me. He sent this to me, and I was supposed to take this to Vegas and break it open, but it didn't happen. I forgot to take it with me, so I'm gonna have to crack this and drink a little tequila. I think in honor of OC guys' amazing calls lately. I'm gonna have to, every time you have a winning call, I'll take a shot, and I'll be drunk within about the first day of doing that. So. Yeah, I got my tequila here, man. Still got my tequila. So, OC is a badass. I agree. All right, OC, that's about all the time we got today. We're going to head over to Crypto Princess, and she's going to have a premiere that just started about 5 minutes ago. So when you guys get over there, drop your graduation cast. Make sure you guys tune in 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and watch OC. He's giving education, guys. These are the same. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have Chart Prime, you get 28 hours a month of free classes with OC, Alex O, Crypto, and myself, right? OC is basically giving you guys a truncated, without all the questions coming from the people in Chart Prime, truncated lessons on trading and how to use not just Chart Prime indicators, but your trading view indicators, how to look at and strategies and methodologies for winning trades. So you guys are missing out if you're not watching that. He's absolutely crushing it. So that's at 8 p.m. every single evening. And of course, we got LBC. Lunar Beaches Crypto doing markets after dark at 11 at night, 11 on the East Coast. It's getting late on the East Coast. And he's doing the same thing. He's looking at Elliott waves and market dynamics and stuff like that, and doing some great trade setups too. So you got 2 shows in the evening time of some really good trade setups in the Asian hours of time there. So make sure you guys are tuning into both of those. And then of course tomorrow morning we'll be back here with BC Port Corp for Good Morning Crypto. He'll be breaking down the market setup, and then we'll spike it home at 10 a.m. right here on the Morning Market Report, guys. And thanks for joining us today. If you haven't done so yet, smash the like button. It really helps us out tremendously. And leave a comment down below if you're watching this later. Let us know that you guys stopped by the Academy, and we'll try to give you a shout back. Share this with a friend, because sharing is caring. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Until next time, trade safe, use some risk management. Peace, love, profits. Later, guys.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy.
I pump those numbers up, those are rookie numbers in the track.
Covered, even when we're dead and gone, we'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon'
Emotional damage. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean? You can't handle the truth!
That was awesome, dude.